We've rolled back our football prices. WagerTalk's first full year was 2015, and we've lowered our football season packages to match what we charged that football season. Why? It's simple. We want to make our season-long packages an extraordinary value. You can buy a full college football season or full NFL season for only $5.99 each. But if you buy a college football NFL combo from the same handicapper, you pay only $8.99. Looking to mix and match handicappers? We have you covered. Just email support@wagertalk.com for a bundle discount and to create any handicapper combo you can dream up.
Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. He's Teddy Covers. I don't know how the hell I went into song there, Teddy. It just went there. I'm Lawrence Presman. Dave Cokin and three guests today. Dave Cokin, Pavlo from Sportsmemo, and Dave Sharapan. Dave's going to talk college football. The Illinois game, the Appalachian State, East Carolina game, and the Ohio State, Minnesota game. Pavlov's coming on to talk soccer, and Dave Sharapan, well, he'll be good for a laugh or two and a lot of actionable info. Teddy, I know you're smiling. Before we get into anything, I heard insane news about 2 minutes ago. You don't like Pearl Jam. I'm having issues with that. They're one of my favorite bands. I don't know if I could keep doing the show. I need a moment. Okay, I can do the show. How are you, dude?
Yeah, I'm sorry that every band that I like is not the same as every band that you like. Clearly, we can't do a show together. I heard some news before the show that also had my jaw drop a little bit. And when we talk about what did bettors learn last night, Prez, I had a whole thing about what I learned last night. Then I woke up this morning and found out something that I was really surprised at. That, of course, is the news coming out of Patriots camp. I did not see Mac Jones winning this job coming out of camp. I did not see Cam Newton getting cut. So what did bettors learn? Sometimes we're every bit as surprised as everybody else. I didn't see it coming, Prez. And certainly when you talk about the trajectory of the New England Patriots and this season, there's a big difference in the upside when you have Cam Newton at QB, even though Newton has stunk for the last couple of years, versus when you're putting a rookie in a tough division with Buffalo and Miami, both capable playoff teams. Now you got a rookie QB. Changes my opinion about the Patriots significantly for 2021. So there's something that I learned this morning, Prez.
Well, I mean, listen, Teddy, I'm just lucky to be alive. Pearl Jam, yes. Pearl Jam, baby.
Yes, you are.
Pearl Jam. Yeah. I see your jacket is black. Pearl Jam, baby. Okay, let's move on. Let's find an even flow. We'll find an even flow, Teddy. Pearl Jam,
I'll take
baby.
the under.
Anyway, well, you really left the best part of what you were talking out. You ended the entire piece with, therefore, it's changed my thoughts on the Patriots, and then you stopped. Would you care to elaborate?
Clearly, you didn't hear what I was saying. Sure. New England does not have the upside that Buffalo and Miami have this year. So when we talk about a 3-team race in a division, now in my mind, it's a 2-team race in the division. We talk about the Patriots' style of play. All right. When you have a rookie quarterback, your style of play is run the football and play defense. I don't think that changes that much, whether it's Newton or Jones. When you talk about the potential trajectory of the season, I downgrade New England, and the markets have as well. We're seeing money come in on the under and money come in on the Dolphins in early action today.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to get from you. Obviously, you downgraded New England from a season perspective, but what I was more interested in is from a game-to-game perspective. I had this team playing to the under all year, and now I feel like more so this team is going to play to the under. I was curious to see if you felt like they were going to change their style of play and if we could take advantage of that from a week-to-week perspective. But you went there. We understand. My daughter really loves the Patriots. See, daughter? Pearl Jam, baby. Teddy covers. Let's bring Dave Cokin in. Let's talk some college football. Dave, how are you, man? What's going on? Welcome to the Tuesday show, $2 Tuesday. You are the $2 handicapper over at WagerTalk. Tell us about that, and then we'll go through 3 games.
All right. And just a thought on the Patriots. Mac Jones looked great in training camp. That's why they play these games. He looked better than Cam Newton. So I guess Belichick made the decision. And I'm not going to downgrade them necessarily because I thought Cam Newton was absolutely horrible last year. So I don't know that you can really downgrade them. Anyway, on to college football. I did not play anything over the week 0 schedule, so I am 0-0 on the season. But that will change because I got 4 games up. I've got 2 free selections, one of which we're going to talk about here on the show. And I've got 2 best bets, and one of those is up for $2. And I'll just mention that number 1 all-time at WagerTalk in college football win percentage, college football net profits, number 1 in 2021 overall net profits. It's been good. So I'm confident going into the season. I like the games I've got this weekend, and hopefully we'll get you a winner for that $2 investment today.
Guys, just to let you all know, $2 Tuesday over at WagerTalk. Dave Cokin, he's got a college football bet up for you guys. It's only $2. Please head over and grab it. Thanks so much, Dave.
And I need to mention one other thing. Most people know I very rarely put out 5% plays. I've got one for week 1 in the NFL. There's a game I really like, and it's an underdog. I only had 2 last season. They were both underdogs. They both won outright. One of them was the 49ers +2. I forget who they played, but they won by like 40. It was a blowout. So the other one was an outright winner as well. This is a dog, and I don't know what the discount is, but there is a discount to get that 5% play if you're getting the $2 play. So
right,
find out about that. Okay. Anyway, let's go.
Okay, no more selling. Let's get into it. UTSA +6.5 versus Illinois, and Illinois 1 game already in the bag, an 8-point victory against Nebraska. Teddy thought it should have been a 7-point victory. We spoke about this yesterday, or maybe a 6-point victory, or maybe if they didn't scoop the ball at the end of the second half, a 1-point loss, or maybe without a safety, a 3-point loss. Could have been anything, Dave. What's going to happen in this game on Saturday?
Well, regardless of what the final score was in last week's Illinois win over Nebraska, Illinois did nothing to impress me. I thought their pass protection was not good. The quarterback got hurt. I'm not that big on him anyway, so I didn't think there was a big drop-off to the backup. Was not impressed at all with what Illinois did offensively in the game. Epstein's a good running back. And the offensive line, though, looks like it's shaky. That game was an Illinois win only because Nebraska was absolutely brutal and made 3 horrendous mistakes in the game that basically led to Illinois getting almost all their points. So I didn't upgrade Illinois at all coming out of that win. And I think they've got a tough game here. Texas San Antonio. Now, the downside is you're risking money on a Conference USA team, and that conference was just pathetic last year. But UTSA looks like they might be decent this year. One of the better teams in Conference USA. I like their quarterback. I think their coach has upgraded the program nicely. I make this game real close to even. And to me, you're getting enough points here to make it very attractive with the Roadrunners. I believe it's a game they can win. I think Illinois, in some people's minds, might be a little overrated off last week. Believe me, that win over Nebraska was no big deal in terms of impressiveness. I like Texas San Antonio with the points, and that's the free play I'm using today.
So there was one thing that Illinois did that did impress me, Dave, and that's they were able to control the line of scrimmage offensively. When they wanted to run the football in the second half, they lined up and they ran the football right down Nebraska's throat. They did it for a good portion of the second half. In theory, that's something that I think will work against the Roadrunners, where you line up at the line of scrimmage, run the football, and beat them up on the line of scrimmage. Is that a concern for you, or is this simply a matter of, hey, here's a fat and happy Illinois team that's overrated in the markets. Let's fade them now as favorites?
I don't think it's a fat and happy situation. I'm not looking for them to have a letdown in particular. I just don't think they're any good. I think Illinois is going to be the worst team in the Big Ten. Bielema might change that over the course of the next few years. He might get some good talent in there. Well, I don't think he's going to recruit like he did at Wisconsin, but I think he'll do okay there. But right now, they're a bad football team. You can match them up with anybody, man for man, in the Big Ten, and probably come out with them as the underdog. And that would even include Rutgers, which is, in the minds of most people, maybe the bottom of the conference, along with a couple of other teams. So, I thought, without getting into details, Nebraska's got a lot of problems that aren't necessarily on the field. The news will come out eventually, but I'm not going to talk about it here because I got it from a good source, and I'll only call it gossip for now, but believe me, I think it's legit. So the win over Nebraska did nothing for me in terms of an upgrade on Illinois. And coming into this season, on my power ratings, I had Texas San Antonio ahead of Illinois.
There you go, everybody. Dave Cokin joining us. And just a reminder, this is an actual release.
Yes.
Released play for Dave Cokin's clients. It's a 3% play that people pay for, and you guys get it for free on WagerTalk Today. Dave, Appalachian State minus 10.5 versus East Carolina. How we betting this game?
Well, yeah, I was thinking that by this time, Mike Houston would have turned the Pirates program around to some extent. Not saying they were going to become a powerhouse or anything like that, but a more representative team. And yet it doesn't seem to be happening. Maybe it's just one of those schools where they're getting just the cast-offs that the other schools don't want in the area, because they've really got some weaknesses. And their defensive line is arguably as bad as anybody's in the FBS. It's terrible. And what that means is they're going to be very soft against the run again this season. And that bodes poorly for them here against Appalachian State. Now, the Mountaineers are probably not as good as they were a year ago. I think there's been a downgraded quarterback. I don't think they're a very explosive team, but they should be able to run the football pretty well. And if you got a good running team with a good defense facing a team that can't stop the run, there's only one way I'd look at that game. Numbers a little bit on the high side, although I'm still mulling this one over. If I play it, it'll be App State minus the points. I don't think East Carolina, they got a decent quarterback, so there is some backdoor possibility with this team if they're down late. But that East Carolina defense they might have a tough time getting off the field if App State just runs the ball down their throats.
So let me ask you this, Dave, because I've been hearing a fair bit, not a ton of buzz around town. It's not like East Carolina is one of these teams that everybody's talking about. But I've seen East Carolina on a handful of people's bet on list, most improved list, one of these teams that's supposed to be better this year. You talked about the quarterback play, and the quarterback play for the Pirates should be decent in 2021. Do you see any upside for East Carolina, or is this just a team with a bad defensive front that's going to get run over, and maybe they're a little bit overvalued in the market scope in the season?
It really comes down to my philosophy. I have a tendency, and I talked about this when I did the power ratings, how I power rate teams, that video that I did a while back. I start from the inside out. I put a lot of weight on what's going on, offensive line and defensive line. And I have trouble getting behind any team that cannot stop the run. It just opens up too many opportunities for the other team to control the ball, to go with just a fundamental, let's push them off the field type of game where they control the clock. And to me, that's going to be a problem for East Carolina all season long, unless this defensive line shows an improvement. You could argue it's one of the 10 worst defensive lines in college, in all of FBS. It's awful. And so if you're giving up more than 5 yards a carry, you can't be particularly improved. I don't care if people have them as a buy-on or not. That's probably because the quarterback not going to do much good if he's not on the field.
Dave Cokin, Dave, feature matchup in Ohio State against Minnesota. Minnesota plus 14 in this game. I can't wait to see what this Ohio State team is going to look like. How we betting this game?
I think you got to look at the dog. Don't know that it'll make my card. I've got 4 games. I'm not going to add too many more because I don't like the idea of going out there with 8 or 9 games the first week of the season. But to me, there are indicators here for Minnesota. And I just talked about how I power rate teams starting from the inside out. And as far as that goes, Minnesota's really good. They've got a terrific offensive line. It's one of the best in the country. They've got a strong defensive line. So I like the fundamentals in this squad. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. The negatives for Minnesota, well, it's not the quarterback. I think Morgan's, good player. I don't think he's got a lot of explosiveness around him. So I don't think there's a lot of game breakers as far as this Minnesota team goes. But I believe they will be a better team than they were last year. Now, Ohio State, I guess I have to downgrade them a little bit going into the season because they do have to replace some really key components as far as skill positions are concerned. And quarterback doesn't figure to be as good as it was last year. But, boy, I mean, there's an awful lot to like. And offensive line, wide receivers are great. I mean, they've got game breakers at the wideouts. The defensive line's very strong. There's just no weaknesses. Minnesota has to make sure they don't fall behind early and get themselves in trouble in this game because coming back against Ohio State won't be easy. But if Minnesota can hang in early, I think they're going to hang in for the whole game. And to me, getting 2 touchdowns would be more a take than a lay.
So when we think about the Gophers up front, I guess my biggest question here is, can Minnesota move the football against that Ohio State defense? The Buckeyes defense is no joke, man. And when I look at Minnesota, I see a team that wants to run the football, that's relatively plodding offensively. They're not filled with playmakers that can get quick strike scores. And it concerns me against a defense like Ohio State.
It should. And that's why, if Minnesota were facing a team with a softer defensive front, I'd be jumping all over them because I love teams that are going to run the ball and control that stat. You give me the team that wins the rushing yards, most of the time they're going to win the game, especially if it's a dominant margin. If you get a team that outrushes its opponent by a 2-1 margin or better, you win the game, not all the time, but very much most of the time. But I don't know that even with their strength on the offensive line, which is going to get them, it's going to serve them extremely well in most of the Big Ten games this year. This might be the one game where it doesn't because Ohio State's defensive line is strong enough to neutralize even that really good Minnesota offensive line. So it makes me a little bit leery, and I don't want Minnesota if they have to throw the ball. That's not – Morgan's good, but if he's in a situation where he has to throw to catch up, I don't like him in that spot. I like him better when it's a close game and they can kind of mix and match the offensive play calling and not put Morgan into must-pass situations.
Dave, I got a quick follow-up on that as well. Listening to you talking, and I always tell our listeners, read between the lines. Listen to the words carefully. 64 is the total in this game. I know you don't bet totals. These two teams, they haven't played each other for a while, but there's never been a 64 on tap between these two. Minnesota is going to struggle to score, yet you feel the plus 14 is good. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking the under is in play on this game. I don't know if you want to talk to that, Teddy, if you do as well, but listening to both of you, the under jumps out at the Prez.
Okay. I don't do college football totals. The only totals I do basically are baseball and once in a great while in the NHL. But I don't like football totals. I'm not good at them. So I can't offer you any opinion there, except to say that if it sounds like an under to me, then you probably better ought to bet the over. Because there's a reason I don't give out college football totals. I don't win them. I learned that years ago. So if I like a game under, it's probably the wrong opinion.
So, Dave, the first time I met you was doing the Stardust. When you were doing the Stardust line, it had to be maybe 2000 or 2001. And that was one of those years where you were ripping it up on Sunday nights and going 3-0 every week and 3-0 every week. It's 20 years later now, and I still consider you the single best brain in college football out there. Nothing but respect for what you do. Tell folks out there what's going on with Dave Cokin this week.
As of now, 4 games. One I talked about here on the show. That's Texas San Antonio plus the points. My free plays are always actual plays. I don't give out bonus opinions that if I'm not betting it myself, why am I going to give it out? So that's a selection. There's 3 other games, including a best bet that's up for $2 right now. And I do have a 5% play next week, week 1 NFL on a dog I think is going to win the game. A team I really like this season. So you can find out about that right now on my homepage at WagerTalk, and that's about it. I think I'm ready to go. Let's play some football. By the way, I don't know the answer to this. I've asked a couple of people, why is there a break between the last week of preseason and the first week of the regular season? That's never happened before. And I'm still unable to find the answer to this. Do you know what it is?
Yeah. But the players and the teams wanted it. And when they went down to 3 preseason games, they kept the schedule exactly the way it was. They just canceled the last week of preseason.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dave Cokin, everyone.
See, the strange thing, I don't. To me, a blank week in the NFL on I don't get it. But believe me, the NFL knows more about their business than I do. So okay.
There you go, guys. I'm reading this stuff in the chat room. James asks, WagerTalk's the best sports betting channel. You guys are really appreciate it. Please hit that like button. Show us some love. Dave Cokin, outstanding work again. We won't see you Thursday. You're good to go for the week. Thanks so much. And we'll see you the following Thursday on WagerTalk Today. Teddy, get your chops ready. Sing some Pearl Jam. Be a better man. Pearl Jam reference. We'll be right back with Teddy's big game breakdown. Pavlos from far away across the sea and Dave Sharapan.
Would you like to bet $20 and win $100 at BetMGM regardless of your wager's outcome and get $100 in free wager bucks? Just go to wt.buzz/MGM for more details and find out if you're eligible for this amazing offer.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. And yeah, it's all college football all the time this week on Wager Talk Today. Let's talk about the Tennessee Volunteers and the Bowling Green Falcons. Thursday night college. Right now, the Vols minus 35. They're taking money. Total sitting in the range of 61. Before we get into the full analysis on this, I do want to let you know about what's going on right now over at Wager Talk and Sportsmemo.com. I've been running pretty good the last couple of weeks. One again yesterday. I think it's 62% across sports for the last 2+ weeks. The college football locked and loaded. The NFL preseason, lousy week 1, but pretty good week 2 and 3. You can get on board with any of my packages right now over at Wager Talk and or Sportsmemo.com, including football this weekend and MLB today. Let's talk about the Vols and the Falcons. And look, Bowling Green can't score against bad defenses. They can't score against decent defense. They scored 0, and again, last 2 years. This is all under Scott Loeffler. 0 points at Notre Dame, 0 points at Kansas State, 10 or less in 5 of their last 8 against MAC opponents, 7 at Louisiana Tech. I don't know how this team's going to put up points in bunches. I don't know how this team's going to score against Tennessee. It's not like the Vols have a great defense, but when you look at Bowling Green's, the coaches' quotes, the depth charts, in a year where there are so many returning starters all across college football, the Bowling Green offensive depth chart is freshman, sophomore, all up front. It's going to be rough for BG to open the campaign. Then we have the Tennessee side of the equation. And yeah, sure. They just announced that Josh Heupel announced that it's going to be Joe Milton who won the starting QB job for the Vols. I watched Milton at Michigan. Tennessee, again, this is not an explosive offense. I know they're going against a bottom-tier defense, but week 1, you see the penalties, you see the red zone issues, you see the mistakes. And again, this total sitting in the 60s, not for this better. Look at Tennessee and Bowling Green to stay under the total, 4-0 to the under in week 1 of week 0 of the college football season. This has all the makings of another under on Thursday night. There's your big game breakdown, Prez. Back to you, Mike.
Ted, it's funny. I didn't know where you were going, right, with this. We don't discuss this beforehand. I didn't know your thoughts. I thought you were going to get on here and say take Tennessee. And I love the under in this game as well. I mean, you look at it and you think, man, no way Bowling Green puts up more than 10. Even if they put up 17, that still leaves a massive amount of room. I mean, 41-10, Teddy. 41-10 is still 10 points lower than the under. I absolutely love that take. Daniel writes, Prez, can you talk about how many outs good bettors maintain? Daniel, real simple. As many as you can get is the answer. There's no, it's like listening to Pearl Jam. The more, the better. It's that simple. Speaking of, yes.
Let me just jump in real quick, and I want to make this real clear. If you have $100 to bet, that's your entire bankroll is $100. Open 4 different accounts at $25 each. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have multiple outs. And I moved to Vegas, so I would have 1 million outs. And in many of the states with legalized gambling, you're getting to that level where you have enough outs you can line shop all day long. So the answer is, if you have 1 book, open another. You have 2, open another. You have 3, open another. You have 10, open another. That's my take.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I got a good friend who has at least 10 outs. His name is Jeremy. Oh, yeah, nailed another Pearl Jam reference. On fire. Dude, you have never been on the show with this man, but in all seriousness, he is the coolest dude on the planet, and he wears a Speedo. Pavlos, welcome to the show, bro.
Glad to be here, guys. I stopped the Speedo stuff.
No. I've seen a picture of you in a Speedo, dude. Don't give me this shit. Me. You are a single man living in the Mediterranean, and you walk around in a Speedo. Carmen and I have made fun of you. Don't come on here and lie. It's been a while, though. Nice to have you on WagerTalk today.
Yeah, nice to be here, guys. I'm super excited about being here. And I gotta tell you, I was banned from wearing Speedos on the beach, because there were too many victims. I don't know. The ladies were falling over. I don't know.
Men were fighting. It was a mess. It was a mess, everybody. I see you still haven't shaven in the last 2 years.
No, I haven't.
That is an excellent, excellent beard. I mean,
oh, well, thank you.
A little bit longer to cover the damn Speedo. $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sportsmemo. Pavlos has a bet up for you guys. It's a World Cup side bet. You want to talk a little bit about it, and then we'll get into the games we're discussing?
Yeah, it's a 5-unit play. It's a side play. I've been doing great with side bets in the month of August. It's 9-3, my record, and I'm looking to keep it up on September. There's a lot of stuff coming out with soccer leagues, Euro Bowl, NBA is coming up also. So I'm super excited. And I do have some free plays for you guys.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. Estonia versus Belgium. I didn't need to look at the odds to know that Belgium was going to be minus every number on the planet. Minus 2,000, Estonia plus 400, a draw plus 1,400. Clearly, you've got some kind of interesting bet for us on this game because it can't be take Belgium.
Yeah, true. This match takes place at the Lecoq Stadium at Estonia. And this is a match, for those who don't know the teams, Estonia is like a really terrible side. They lose to everyone. I mean, everyone. They are winless in their last 16 competitive matches. They have 12 losses and 4 draws in that span. They actually only beat Greece in their last 21 matches. And that was a match where Greece were actually dominant and they scored an own goal. So in their last 21 or so matches, they have 17 losses and 4 draws. So they're a really, really terrible side. And they started these World Cup qualifiers with 2 very, very bad losses. They lost by 6-2 to the Czech Republic and by 4-2 to Belarus. And Belgium are now coming to town and they are much, much better than both these sides. So we are looking at a lopsided match where Belgium will have the ball to their feet for the entirety of the match. They're gonna create a lot of scoring chances. This is gonna be a truly one-sided match. And Belgium, even though they're missing a couple of key players who are actually their best players, they actually have the best generation Belgium has ever had. So they're coming off a rather unfulfilling Euro run in the Euros, and but they are traditionally great in the World Cup qualifiers. So the way I'm looking at this is grabbing Belgium with -3 at -110 at DraftKings. Something that I really like. It's like the Lakers playing the I don't know, the Timberwolves. It's like a super lopsided match. So I like Belgium -3 here at -110 at DraftKings.
Yeah, or the Lakers playing Bishop Sycamore, perhaps. Let's talk about Sweden versus Spain. Sweden plus 400, the draw plus 280. Spain as the short favorites -130. You're not interested in the side in this one. You're interested in the total. Tell us what you want to do with Sweden and Spain.
My play is on the totals, but if I had to go on a side, I'd seriously consider picking the draw here. Now, the two teams also met in the Euros, in the group stage, where they played for a 0-0 draw. And Sweden, they've actually been quite solid lately. They're unbeaten in their last 6 competitive matches with 4 wins and 2 draws. That, of course, is inside 90 minutes. And Spain, they weren't really convincing in the Euros, even though they made it all the way to the semifinals. Of course, they lost to Italy, who went on to capture the cup. But yeah, Spain, they played 6 matches in the Euros, and 5 of them were draws. So it's a young team that was recently, built from the start. They value a lot their youngsters, and the coach is a really weird dude who didn't take any Real Madrid players because he himself is an ex-Barcelona player. But anyhow, looking at stats, when you look at Spain, 7 of their last 11 matches were draws, and even though the two teams are not, Spain is considered as a better team. Sweden are always competitive. They have a great defensive side. They shaped out their defense in recent competitions, and I seriously think that this is going to be a low-scoring match. So I really like the under 2.25 goals here, which is also -110 at DraftKings. I also see this match ending as a draw. And if you like the draw, you can also take the 0-0 as a final score, which goes at +750.
Yeah.
And also the 1-1 draw, which goes at +850. So we're not looking at a lot of goals here, and Spain will struggle. So yeah, I like the under and the 1-1 and the 0-0 draws here.
Pavlos, thanks so much for joining us, man. I know it's probably some strange time where you're from. Greece, right? No, Greece.
Yeah.
Greece.
Yeah, it's Greece.
Greece. It's Greece. I've been to Greece, dude. I didn't wear a Speedo, but I did have the same effect where women were fainting and men were screaming at me. I just didn't buckle. I just kept walking, man. Kept walking, did a couple of these.
Yeah, it's nice.
Get
Greece
out
is
of
awesome.
here, bro. We got to get our next guest on. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Teddy, before we bring Dave Sharapan on, just breathe, bro. Just breathe. Another Pearl Jam reference for you. Matthew Joseph. He's also the $2 Tuesday handicapper over at Sportsmemo. And Teddy, man, Matt's got a college football bet up for the $2, his $2 package last year, 62.4% win percentage, made over 70 units for his clients. All of those plays were released. Another Pearl Jam reference there, Teddy. That's number 10, give or take. I'm freaking nailing it! Dave Sharapan!
Next Tuesday, I was just waiting for some B-roll to pop up of you in a Speedo. I mean, after that discussion,
I don't have a picture. I don't have a picture of me in a Speedo, bro. Sorry, I can't help that at all. There is none out there. I did wear a Speedo once. Another Pearl Jam reference. Oh, no.
Let's start with Sharapan.
Teddy, take this
Pearl Jam,
over.
yes or
I'm
no?
losing my mind.
Yeah. Pearl Jam, yes or no?
They were great. What, 20 years ago? I mean, they were awesome. They were excellent.
But yeah, so
it was-
you're a
Well, at
fan.
least-
Okay, 'cause I'm like,
Hey, he's a fan. Dave Sharapan. Why, dude? He's wearing a Pearl Jam hat.
it is.
Like, hello, a P and an upside down J, all interlinked in the colors of angst. Come on, Teddy,
Got 'em
man,
all.
get actionable info out of this guy.
Oh, I want to talk about the MLB network, man. You're on national TV now. How
What?
often are these gigs coming? Tell me about it. How often are these gigs coming, man? That's a good deal.
So-
I love clicking on the TV and seeing Dave Sharapan on a national show.
It's just been a lot of fun. We're just keep doing stuff. It's funny, you know what's going on in this space. Like, there's a lot of people that are diving into it that maybe don't understand it or just
You
want to
think?
be around it. And yeah, and you know, you just kind of answer the phone when they call and say, let's do this, and then we're going to do more. And it's fun because I get to talk baseball, and you know, I'm doing this stuff anyway. So it's been a blast. And we're going to keep trying to just, you know, do more. And who knows? I have no idea where this is all going. The space, us, this stuff. I just know I don't want any drama. Literally, now we have, I don't know how many, the over under for Pearl Jam references for today. I didn't know I was walking into this. This is amazing. This is really good.
Dude,
I think 14 and a half.
You know what I
14
thought of?
and a half.
Literally when Teddy said that you're on the regular TV now, I thought, oh my God, I hope he doesn't put us in his rear view mirror. Pearl Jam reference.
Whoa, that's it. We 13. The
Oh.
number's 14 and a half. We may have to move it to over minus.
Oh
a
my
quarter.
God, I
Go
can't.
8 minutes
Dude,
left in the
sometime.
show.
Dude,
So,
one of our
what I
one
wanna
of our
ask
most
you, Dave,
awesome. Okay, go,
what I
Teddy.
wanna
Go.
ask
Let's
you
go.
is that when it
okay.
comes to when you're dealing with the guys in the MLB network, okay,
Yes.
the hosts and or the ex-players, do any of them know anything about gambling? Any of them, or is it just like you're speaking a different language?
Oh yeah, no. Like the host Keith Zeri is great. Like Irizarry, he's fantastic, and he's in the space. I mean, he does work for CBS Sportsline, and he's in the gambling space. You know, so what we have to understand, like, you know, being in Vegas, is that this exists outside of Vegas. It never did, but it does now. And there's people that are outside of Vegas that kind of know it and understand it. You know, and like the people in Vegas have to kind of get off their high horse a little bit and go, you know, there's more out there. So that's fun. It's the challenge is when you do shows or do things with people that aren't in the space, and you try to, you know, make them be a part of it and not and understand it. No one wants to listen to the professor talk that knows everything, and they're not talking to the people, they're talking over them. So yeah, I mean, it's fun. I just, you know, at some point there might be a time where I'm sitting next to, you know, Pedro Martinez at the desk and explaining to him while he's explaining how he threw his changeup. I'm going to say, yeah, well, that's why the total is 4.5 in the first 5 innings, because nobody's going to see it and be able to hit it. So who knows? I have no idea where it's going, but it's been a lot of fun. No drama at all, literally.
Let's stay in MLB because we haven't touched on baseball at all for today. We're going to talk college football, a little bit of NFL. But let's talk about today's MLB card and see if we can give you guys some actionable information. Where are you seeing the money flow this morning? Do you have any opinions on today's card? And who do the wise guys seem to like in early MLB action?
Well, you know, it's pretty funny because I've been doing, you know, because I'm so immersed in it now with them and trying to help them understand different things. You got to look at the overnight markets. And like we were doing this with Prez and in hockey, you know, a few months ago. You look at the overnight numbers and then you watch it move. And like the Phillies game today is one where, you know, the first overnight number was the Phillies favored on top. And now when you wake up today and you see books putting up numbers, the Nationals are favored. So the Phillies are rolling, right? 4 in a row. They got Matt Moore on the mound, a little bit scary. For those of you that know, like he could give up runs immediately. He can have a bad inning and then he's out. And then you get to that Philly bullpen, which is a disaster. So I think the market has already told you that they bet the Nationals at the plus money, and they're probably going to come back. I wouldn't be surprised on the Phillies. I mean, I like the Phillies in the game. The Nationals with Corbin's been terrible. He's not the Corbin of the past. So, and then you see some other games. I mean, the Mets got, a lot of stuff going on, and, the thumbs down to the Mets. They can't get any runs. They've lost 25 games by 1 run this year. That's the most in Major League Baseball. It's ridiculous, right? They can't get runs when they need them. They strand runners all the time. Seems like a gigantic number for me. I think the Marlins, like plus 1.5 runs is live, and I think you'll be able to see that happen in game. The couple playoff series, maybe previews, Milwaukee, San Francisco, Atlanta, and the Dodgers. I'm surprised by the Dodger number being lower today than it was yesterday, with Walker Buehler on the mound, maybe the best pitcher in baseball. I mean, how do you say you can get the Dodgers at a discounted price at like minus 185? But it was 220 yesterday. I just, and that one seems a little bit off to me. I think you'll see that one move. San Francisco hasn't named a pitcher yet. Milwaukee's favored on the road. They won yesterday. San Francisco ran themselves into a couple outs. That's one to look at too. Under in that game is probably the side. It's literally a playoff game, and these playoff games are unders. So that's the early look right now. You got Pirates and White Sox. Everybody knows I'm a Pirate guy, Pittsburgh guy. I can't. That line may close at $4 today, Teddy. That's going to be the biggest, most put in every parlay. The White Sox run line is going to be in every parlay today, in every book, everywhere in the world.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a fan of that bet, but I agree 100%, Dave. And just to let John Hagan Jr. know, who commented that that's a Philadelphia Phillies old school hat. Yeah, I know. Dave, college football, just a massive slate of games. Thursday, game Wednesday night, Thursday, 6-pack, Friday, Saturday, on and on and on. I mean, it's almost like 10 straight days. There's another Pearl Jam reference for you all.
Hey, 13. This thing's going way over.
Listen, brother, I don't want to talk specific games. Are you hearing or seeing anything that we need to know across the board in the college football card for this week?
Well, it's so funny because, week 0, it never lives up to the billing. It was all chalk except Illinois, and that was the public side. That was the majority side. I mean, how could you lay points on the road with Nebraska? So now you're seeing a reaction in the market, right? Like you're seeing some games like Ohio State, they play at Minnesota. It's already moved. It's going up. People are going to bet Ohio State. There's, a couple other games like, one close to me, being a Penn State guy, Wisconsin. They played that Wisconsin number. They played it twice. They laid the initial number and they laid it again. So that one's going up. So I think you're seeing what you're going to see. And this always happens in the books in September. The favorites win and cover because the numbers aren't that great. Like this is the time when, people should listen to guys like you and other people that are really watching it, can find those soft numbers. And it's okay to lay favorites. Like people are like, oh, you got to take dogs. Favorites win. There were 5 games last week and 4 of them covered. And the dog won outright on the one game that it didn't, and it was a bad number. So I think it's okay. But like you see games like Pitt, UMass, 38. You see Akron, Auburn, 37. Yeah. Don't be so afraid to lay those numbers. I guess sometimes, but I mean but just avoid those games. Like find the right games. Georgia Clemson's the game everybody's talking about, Prez. That's the one. Yep. If you need one, that's the one everybody's going to be watching.
So give us something for it. What, Teddy? I want info on Clemson, Georgia, bro.
Sure, but this is what I can tell you. I haven't talked to him about this game, and I can tell you exactly what he's going to say. He's going to say, "What is this line is right." If you're looking for games where the line isn't right, you'll have to look deeper on the card. Dave?
Took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly.
Words right out of my mouth. Some meatloaf, baby.
Is that? Oh, I was going to say, is that Pearl Jam? I didn't think that was Pearl Jam.
No, I went to meatloaf, but Georgia is versing Clemson. Pearl Jam reference. Okay, Dave. Teddy, go.
Yeah, I got one more question for you, Dave. And we saw it
Yes,
this past
sir.
weekend in the NFL preseason, where the books lost decision after decision. It was a rough week
Mhm.
for the sports books in that one particular sport.
Yes.
Here we are at the beginning of football season. All right. How often is that going to happen this year? Are books going to have rough weekends, multiple rough weekends? Or is this a situation where you can count on the bettors to lose consistently and the books to clean up consistently? Or is it a little bit more choppy than that over the course of the next 3 months?
I used to say it like this. It was 4 weekends a year. 4 of the football weekends, NFL weekends, you're going to get crushed. I mean, the favorites are going to win. And for 16 games, 11 or more, they're going to win and cover. And all the teasers are going to lose. Like you got no shot. And when they come, hopefully they're spaced out from the book's perspective. But for the most part, there's 4 weeks where you're just going to be like the numbers are bad, the matchups are wrong, good teams beat bad teams and cover, and the games all go over. But I think what you're seeing now, like we have a new season. I mean, what happened in the preseason? Why does nobody make the Ravens 7? The Ravens cover for 5 years in a row. One game they did. I said, let's make history. Let's just put the line 7, and maybe they won't cover. You take some bets on the way down, and you actually save the house money. They don't do that. What you're going to see this year is going to be a kind of a reverse of last year because there's fans back in the buildings. There's different things that are going to affect the game. And I don't think anybody's really talking about it, where away teams had so much value last year. I mean, because they could hear each other. They could make audibles and everything. It's going to be a big factor that I don't think odds makers are going to maybe play into the numbers as much. So there may be an extra weekend or two, Teddy, where they lose because they're doing what they were doing last year that took them 5 weeks, 6 weeks to adjust, and they do it again. So interesting times. A week off before the NFL season starts. That's the first time ever for that. We're going to see some different things, but you saw based on what happened in the preseason, New England got steamed against Dallas week 1. That line was 6.5 before Dallas showed in their last game that they really may be a disaster. Went to 8, so people are betting that. And now Mac Jones is the starter. They cut Cam Newton. A lot of things going on in New England. I think that's a team that everybody's going to be paying attention to.
Dave Sharapan, awesome work, dude. You guys can find him at Sports BK Consig. He has his own show, Cash Consid Show. He also is pretty much everywhere. We have run out of Pearl Jam references. I've been trying so hard to get Yellow Ledbetter somewhere in the middle of our conversation. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to, I don't even know what it is. Dave, man, thanks, bro. You're the best. Anything you got to promote quick?
All that stuff you said, the MLB Network, and then Sports Grid and Sirius XM Radio every day from 7 to 10 Eastern, 4 to 7 Pacific. And stay tuned. We're doing more. Hopefully, we'll be very much a part of Wager Talk as well. This stuff, I read Ralph's newsletter every day, and we continue to just grow. So it's great. Awesome stuff. Get out of here, brother. It's time, everybody. I hope it starts with a Pearl Jam song. No. Nope. Well, at least that was a little bit better a song than the last one. It had a little groove instead of just a drum beat ripping off Queen. Anyway, 2-0 yesterday in my in my daily presidential address for you guys. I gave out Tampa Bay, gave out the Jays -1.5. I got one baseball play up for my clients today. You guys can get that over at WagerTalk.com. I only have 2 bets in baseball today to give out here. And the first, we're going right back to the well, boys. Jays -1.5 again. It's a big number again. Dave Sharapan spoke about this in his segment. Don't be afraid of betting these big numbers. It's if you have an 80% chance of winning a number that is only 60%, well, that's a good bet. So all of this is straight math. Take the Blue Jays -1.5, and
I like the Astros -1.5 as well. Yeah, I'll be betting and giving out a lot of run line bets as we move into September baseball. Guys, if you didn't watch Wager Talk today, it was an incredible show. Teddy did not shut up about Pearl Jam. It was ad nauseum. I think he had 15 references. We had Pavlos on talking soccer, Dave Cokin talking college football, and of course, Dave Sharapan while just talking. That's it for me. Teddy, I got a turkey clubhouse with tomato, mayonnaise, onions, and cucumbers on a toasted challah bread with French fries. There. Now you got the full detail because you hate when I do that. Take us home, baby.
Sure, yeah. You got a whole lot of mayonnaise, Prez. I agree with that. That's going to wrap it.
A ton of mayo.
For the
A
Tuesday
ton
edition
of mayo.
of Wager Talk today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with us. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Please give us a like. Please give us a follow. And please subscribe to the Wager Talk YouTube channel between now and our next show. Enjoy the games and good luck.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and Sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.